Good day everyone, today I'm going to be showing you how to correctly set the shock pressure on your mountain bike. Now for this you're going to need a shock pump. Now if you don't have a shock pump, I'd highly recommend investing in one, as you're going to need to check your shock pressure every 2 to 3 weeks. The reason for this is that your shocks are not 100% airtight, so you do lose a bit of pressure as time goes on. Your shock pressure is pretty much based on your weight. How we look for this is we want to slowly apply all our body weight to the front end of the bike. We don't want to bounce onto the shock, as this will give a false reading based on our weight. On the rear shock you want to do the same thing. So once you've tilted all your weight onto the front end of the bike, slowly sit back down and then get off the bike when you're ready to do so. When setting up your shock pressures, what we're looking for is a 20 to 30% sag in the total amount of travel in your shock based on your body weight. Look for the elastic band on the one side of the shock to help you indicate your 20 to 30% sag. If there is more than 30% sag, you'll need to put some pressure into the shock using your shock pump. If there's too little sag, you'll release some pressure in the shock by slowly pressing the release air button on your shock pump. If you don't have an elastic band around your shock, I'd highly recommend asking your bicycle shop to put one on next time you go for a shock service. But in the meantime, you can use a little cable tie to become your indicator for your sag in your shock. If you're riding a dual suspension mountain bike, you'll use the same method to determine your shock pressure in your rear shock. You're looking for a 20 to 30% sag in the total amount of travel. The reason we give a range in these shock pressures is because you'll ride a slightly harder shock or a slightly softer shock depending on what terrain you're riding. Take note of the pressure reading on the shock pump when you have reached that 20 to 30% range, and you can reuse these shock pressure measurements at a later stage. I hope this video has helped you guys, and you can now set up your shock pressures on your mountain bike.